Saturday, black market beauties.
I'm calling you a white slaver.
And Hooker wants to set them free. Then,
I'm your son.
Scott becomes an unexpected father on the Love Boat. And it's round one when the wrong girl falls for Rourke on Fantasy Island.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
His paintings redefined comic book heroes. His vision inspired a generation. The Legend of Kingdom Come is the definitive documentary on Alex Ross, known as the Norman Rockwell of comics.
It almost looked like Renaissance paintings, except for superheroes.
He makes them look like Olympian gods.
We go behind the scenes of his definitive graphic novel, Kingdom Come, now on Blu-ray, packed with exclusive interviews and unseen artwork. Order today at legendofkingdomcome.com.
If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. For just $3 a month or more, you'll get exclusive access to the Word Balloon e-magazine, featuring transcriptions of some of my best conversations. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Michael Bendis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Time again for another Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Sutras here with one of my oldest friends in comics, Jim McCann. I cannot believe that we've known each other for like 20 years now, but welcome to Word Balloon.
It's been almost 20 years exactly, maybe 21 years. So yeah, because I started in the marketing and publicity department side of Marvel in 2005.
I don't know if we talked that first year, but I know we did in 06.
Oh yeah.
And and you're right. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. So yeah, that's crazy. And I will say, everybody, yeah, Jim was the marketing guy at Marvel and was very accommodating. And I really appreciated it at that time because it was really crucial for me to be able to talk to the creators. And Marvel made it easy and you made it easy.
Well, thanks. I always love to keep the conversation going any way we can, and you're always a great person to have a conversation with.
Thank you very much. And I'm very excited for you because now I remember back in the day, and we'll talk about it later, but this fine book that you and Janet Leigh did, Return of the Dapper Men, and that was a really great thing. But I'm glad you're back writing comics, and this brand new comic that we're all excited about from Ignition Press, a fantastic detective procedural, if you will. The other half, and I certainly see the old Hollywood vibes in this story. But yeah, tell me about creating this now with Joe Eisma, your artist.
This book has been in my head for such a long time, and you'll see a lot of influences, which I know you did. I know you've seen them, and when it comes out, you'll see things like The Thin Man and My Man Godfrey and The Philadelphia Story, because I love films from the 30s and 40s so much. And also, I think it has something for everybody, like action, comedy, romance, and mystery, like you said. So yeah, it's it was in my head. Originally, the pitch was called The Thin Men, but they're like, yeah, we can't really do that. And so because the hard-boiled detective Henry and his socialite husband Ethan have to basically swap places and live in each other's shoes as far as social status goes, it made sense to call it The Other Half, to see how the other half lives, and also to see how your other half lives in both senses. So it was really fun when we settled on that one. I was like, oh, that's perfect. I can't even imagine it being called The Thin Men ever again.
That's cool, man. Well, that's all right. I was wondering too, yeah, did it ever, regarding The Thin Men, did it ever occur to you to call them Nick and Norman?
No, but there is a character. She's on the cover of the cover that you showed just a little bit before, the first cover, and that cover as well. Yep, that's Victoria Charles, and her last name is for Nick and Nora Charles.
Sure.
And there's a couple things in there from the Thin Man series. They drink all the time.
Yes, they do.
There's an issue that comes out. The title is "A Fella I Got to Know," which is a quote from the Thin Man. And then also their blind cat, Henry and Ethan's blind cat, is named Skippy, which was the real name of the dog that played Asta.
Oh, okay. Because Asta.
That was a deep dive for that one.
That's great, man. No, that's I love it. And yeah, the only thing that's missing is an MGM score to accompany your stuff. Are you going to put cocktail recipes in the back of the book?
That we're talking about that. I know it's not in the first issue, but it probably will be in the trade.
Okay.
And I want to do it like real, like 50s and 40s and 50s style with like, the cartoon art and then the handwritten recipe. So I have a serving tray that has a bunch of them. It's really fun. That's
excellent, man. This is a diamond heist. The guys are hired to guard a diamond, and of course nothing could go wrong. Well, that obviously does, or else why would you have a story? But no, it's and also is Ethan the blonde?
Yeah, Ethan's the blonde. He's a socialite.
Okay, and Ethan's parents, they don't look like this in the book. Joe didn't draw them this way, but I almost projected a 1970s Ray Milland kind of. Yes, I disapprove of my son's relations, but I will still support him.
I thought of like the first couple of episodes of Gilmore Girls also.
Edward Herman?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I pictured him and Emily. Oh my God, this is gonna kill me for forgetting her name.
Oh, the old lady. Yeah.
She's not old.
Yeah. I was not thinking of the mother and daughter. I was thinking of like the grandmother.
Lorelai's mom.
Yeah,
Emily.
All right. Yeah, I don't remember. I forget what you played.
My brain is farting, and I'm literally listening to her audiobook memoir.
Okay.
On right now, and I'm like, oh crap! Somebody in the comments will probably put it up.
I certainly hope so. Yeah, everybody, please. Again, Jim and I can talk for the hour, but we want you to contribute as well if you have any thoughts. And hell, also it'd be great to hear. Really, once we're done promoting the other half, talk about Jim's Marvel days and even some old con days and everything. Oh, well, no, we're not talking about Lauren Graham.
No, not Lauren Graham.
The woman who played her mother.
Her mother.
Yeah. So
I could look it up on IMDb, but I don't want to take attention from this.
No, it's all good, man. But anyway, I also regarding the Thin Man, because I know the Maltese Falcon just came out in public domain. So is this still a couple of years before the Thin Man goes into public domain? Do we know?
It is.
Was it after?
At the same time, because I think it's, well, gosh, it was 37 or 38. Speaking of the Maltese Falcon, there was a nod to that in Henry's last name being Archer, which was
Miles Archer, everybody. That's Sam Spade's partner that ends up dead at the beginning of the
Maltese.
Yeah, exactly. 60, literally like 90 or 100-year-old spoiler. Or 90 years now. Yeah. The Sonny Bono public domain law. Honestly, Jimmy, I've been talking to everybody because we're only a couple years away from all the stuff going into like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Captain America. It's going to be like dominoes once it starts with Superman. Any interest in writing a public domain version of anybody?
Well, one thing that I've really wanted to do is not a superhero character, but I would love to do a Peter Pan take, which is public domain. But
yes.
I wrote Hawkeye for a long time at Marvel, but he would come into public domain pretty soon, and it'd be fun to like revisit that and maybe do a different take on him. But I don't want to pigeonhole myself just to that. I think
So like a Peter Pan as like a Hawkeye figure.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Sure.
And Wonder Woman would be really fun. She's in the World War II era, and then there's the Linda Carter women's rights almost.
But you can't touch that, unfortunately.
No. I mean, I'm just saying she has different incarnations, and so it'd be really cool to like see if she debuted in today. Oh, thank you. Not my name 5591.
Yeah, that is nice. He also suggests, is Kelly Bishop the old lady?
Kelly Bishop, yes.
There you go. All right.
Yes.
Probably not that much older than us, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. And yeah, that's great, man. No, I'm glad you're thinking along those lines. And yeah, I did I ever tell you I went to New York Comic Con, and Neil Adams was set up next to, now I'm blanking on her name. Speaking of women's lib, the woman who wrote the Ms. cover article, all pissed off about that they took away Wonder Woman's powers. Come on, we all know her from the 70s. She was she even did that Playboy thing where she was a bunny. Gloria Steinem. Thank God.
Gloria Steinem, yeah.
All right, the brain kicked in.
I could picture her, and I knew it was like a classic name. Like Gloria is such a classic name. So
she had some sort of comic book that was tied to a cause. It wasn't women's lib, obviously. I mean, this was in 2006 or 7. And sorry, kids. And then, but I was talking to Neil, and he goes, "You're going to interview Gloria?" And I said, "Yeah, you're right. I should." He goes, "For Christ's sake, man, she's a real superhero." He goes, she's living history. And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." So I go over and I have my little recorder and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, God, it was on a micro cassette. I don't even think I have the damn thing anymore. But I'm like, I go, forgive me, because I absolutely understood where you were coming from with that Ms. Magazine article. For people who don't know, it was a cover story. And this is when Denny O'Neil and Mike Sikowski took Wonder Woman out of the red, white, and blue outfit, put her in an all-white outfit, really kind of made her like Diana Rigg from the original Avengers, and a street-level martial arts hero that was depowered. But again, depowered. So, obviously the women's movement had a problem with that, and rightfully so. But like an idiot, and I guess this is mansplaining, but I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, but, really Denny was trying to make her even stronger as this female hero that didn't have superpowers. And she's like, that was wrong. What's that? That's that.
Trying to make her more relatable to the average woman.
Yeah, exactly. And making her more modern and putting her in nice fashions and stuff beyond the white jumpsuit and everything. And she's like, "Well, he was wrong." And I'm like, "Okay."
I'll take my Wonder Woman powered any day.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So that's my Gloria Steinem story. But anyway, another great duo, man and woman duo from the 30s, and I don't know if you ever got into them. It was Hildegard Withers and Inspector Poole. And Hildegard Withers was played by various women, Edna Mae Oliver and Zazu Pitts and a couple others. But Inspector Poole was always James Gleason, that wonderful character actor. He's Barbara Stanwyck's boss and his girl Friday, or in Meet John Doe.
Yeah.
And he's in a ton of movies. But they were kind of a low rent. They weren't high society. Well, she was like a retired school teacher and very hot, especially when it was Edna Mae Oliver. And very, oh my word, And James Gleason was an inspector, and he was from the cops. So he was your classic 30s cop. Great team up. And if you've never, the books are, Stuart Wilson, I believe, is the author, and they had a ton of short stories and novels as well. Fantastic stuff. I love this period.
Okay.
So
the story about Dashiell Hammett, who wrote the Thin Man series, or at least the first 2 books. He wrote the Thin Man as a way to pay the rent. He was almost broke and about to be kicked out, and he just hammered it out. And it became one of his, I mean, arguably, probably the Maltese Falcon is more popular, but I love the Thin Man. So.
Oh yeah. Well, he had to have made money from those movies.
I mean, I guess, but yeah.
After the
Well, I'm
fact.
talking about at the time, though.
Oh no, and that's no, and I'm saying
yeah,
that beyond
absolutely,
paying
yeah.
the rent and beyond the book being a hit, which it was,
Yeah.
it also became this wonderful series of films
Oh,
for
absolutely.
for over 10 years. Myrna Loy and William Powell, absolutely fantastic stuff.
Love them.
Well, I see the spiritual link between them and the other half. So great covers, man. So Joe did this main cover.
Yes, that's Joe. And on there is Ethan with the martini glass and Henry with the spyglass. And then Victoria is holding a diamond. She's holding the nobility diamond.
Indeed, which is the diamond in question
Yeah.
of the first story. And then we got another cover here. And that's
by Igor Rodriguez. He's a queer artist that I've followed on Instagram. And I love his work so much. And I was just, like a follower. And I told Maggie Howell, my editor, I really would love a variant cover by Ego. And I just sent her the link to his Instagram. They reached out. He agreed. He did this amazing cover. And now on all of the B covers, I'm trying to get a queer artist to do a cover. So I think hopefully we'll have 4 out of 5.
Wonderful, man.
But yeah, so
very cool. And so that's 5 issues for this story.
It's 5 issues, but also I can tell you, and I can tell everybody else now. There's actually a 0 issue called A Cold Open, and I think you may have the cover for it.
I do. There it is.
Yeah. So Ignition does these cold opens, which they describe, and it's easy to see. They describe as like a mini story, like the pre-story in James Bond movies, where there's like a mini adventure, and then the theme music hits and the main story continues.
Yeah.
The other half is going to have one. This is only available. It's limited to like 500, and it'll be available. I'm not sure. We're not sure about the. We're not sure about the launch. Well, we're still working out the launch for this one, but look for it soon. They've had other great cold opens that it just really sets it up. And
yeah,
this is the one that's called A Fella I Got to Know, because it's the story of how Ethan and Henry met and eventually fell in love. And then I had only written 11 pages on the script, and Maggie called me up and was like, this is 12 pages, right? And I was telling Cy Spurrier about this, and he goes, "Oh, I smell a splash page coming." And I'm like, actually, no, the last page I did was jump forward 1 year in time and said 1 year later, and it set up the mystery from there. But you can see all of it. Like the mystery unfolds through issue 1 as well. So, but yeah, this I'm really excited about. And then I'm just really psyched about the whole book. I'm sad to be writing the last issue at the moment. So yeah. Oh, you're muted. You're on mute.
Hopefully we get some buzz going. And final cutoff, everyone, to order issue 1 is Monday.
Yes.
So make sure you hit your local shop this weekend or on Monday, and let them know that you want the other half. And let's help.
To your pull list. And then also there's a signature series that Collector's Paradise is doing, where I sign each issue, and you'll get all 5 issues shipped at the end. And you can find that on comicsandcards.net. And sign up for it. It's only $25. Yeah, and it's only $25, which is the cover price for all 5 issues. And you get a signature, and then they'll ship it to you. Or if you're in LA, they'll hold it for you.
I'm going to write a URL for people to, or a banner that has the info here.
Thank you. And also,
That's
your
for the
local
collectors.
store and
Hold on. That's for the signature. How's it called?
the signature series.
Thank you. Keep going now.
Oh, and then, your local comic book shop, especially with, newer publishers. And I think Ignition is really starting to make a splash, or not starting to. I think they made a splash from the beginning with, there we go. With Murder Podcast, Voyeur, Roots of Madness, all came out, like in the first month. And I'm sorry if I'm forgetting something. I think Arcadia came out like shortly thereafter.
The big one, of course. The Beauty, of course.
And the Beauty, yeah. Well, that came out like a month or two later, and it's a continuation of what Jeremy Hahn and Jason Hurley were telling back in 2017. And now it's the hit FX, Hulu, Disney Plus show. It's #1. It was #1 2 weeks in a row. And I'm so happy for those guys. Like everybody worked really hard on it. And one of the things I really like about Ignition is that also all the creators like to promote each other. So you'll see on our Instagram stories, like, I'll post something about the Beauty, or I'll post something about Roots of Madness, or Murder Podcast, or Voyeur, or Deluge. And then you'll see like Cullen Bunn and Jeremy Hahn, Stephanie Williams, Leah Williams. They'll post my stuff. So it's a real nice comic community that's built.
Yeah.
And I mean, that exists in corporate comics, but I really like to see it existing in a creator-owned space where it can sometimes be dog eat dog. But I think there's really, like, especially now, there's really a wave of people coming out of that vacuum of just like, oh, I've got to promote this book, I got to promote my book, I got to promote my book. Instead, we've got to promote indie comics and create our own stuff, because it's an audience that's really found its footing. And I mean, like with The Other Half, I feel like I did a book that can be accessible to everybody, but also as a member of the LGBT community, I'm very proud that they were able to let me tell a queer-led book, romance book, and there was never a blink or anything. And so it exists in that space. So it, also the LGBTQ plus community can find representation in that.
Yeah.
Which I'm really happy. So
I, as a cisgender white guy, I can say that I really enjoyed the story, and it's a lot of fun, and it hits those Dashiell Hammett kind of tropes of your classic cocktail detectives like Nick and Nora in the best way, and that's great, man. And again, this is exciting, and I say this all the time. And the one guy that I point to that to me cracked the code early was Ram V, the Indian writer that's out of England now. And, These Savage Shores, he took your classic 19th century vampire story and he goes to Mumbai and like, oh, I'm going to have a feeding frenzy with these natives, and doesn't realize, no, it's a different society and they're about to kick the shit out of you. And it was fantastic. And and what I'm saying is taking the standard tropes of those 30s and even earlier pulpy stories and spinning them in a modern way, but still retaining the flavor. And I think you're doing that with The Other Half.
Thank you so much. It's hard to believe that it's like 90 years since these movies started coming out.
Yeah.
Or this genre. I mean, they existed in the 20s, but really started in the 30s, and then in the 40s, they had a really big peak. And then the 50s, it was Hitchcock. It was a heyday. It was a beautiful time for film and storytelling. There's even a little bit of Hitchcock that shows up in The Other Half. I wrote a scene that in the notes, I specifically said, reference this movie when you're about to draw this. And the cover he came back with also represented that Hitchcock film. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but yeah, it's been so great. And Joe is amazing. I've got to talk about Joe for just a second, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I wanted to work with Joe for a very, very long time. He did Morning Glories the same time I was doing Mind the Gap. And I really loved his work. And when I got the chance to come back and do comics, not had the chance to come and do comics, that's wrong. I stepped away from comics for a little bit, and then now I'm back with a vengeance and ready to go.
Attaboy.
And my first person that I really wanted to work with was Joe Eisma, and Joe said yes, and we compared. I had him write an email, and I wrote an email at about the same time about who are your influences, and they lined up so well with each other. And yeah, he loves drawing like the fashion. There's high fashion in this. And his acting is so on point, as far as, because, there's a lot of talking in this book. But hopefully it's witty repartee at times. So, but it gives him a chance. I mean, there's a panel where Ethan's just, it was inspired by, when in The Thin Man, when Nora wakes up after having drank all 10 martinis, and she goes, "Oh, what hit me?" And Nick says, "That last martini." And she just goes, she makes a face at him. And I was like, oh, this is a book where I can just have this amazing artist, no word balloons, nothing, just convey everything with just a facial expression. And he nails it every single time.
Yeah. Much like Tom King and Greg Smallwood on Human Target. You and Joe are a great fit for this book. And Joe draws beautiful women. I did show, this is a Marguerite Sauvage cover.
Yeah, but, that one is gorgeous. That's the C cover
for this one. Issue, yeah.
Yeah, and oh, I don't know if I can say that yet or not. Never mind.
Okay, well, regardless, these covers represent Joe's work. I didn't want to show interiors because again, we want people to check everything out. Again, final cutoff for issue 1 is Monday. So
actually, there is there's going to be an ash can for people to go to the local comic store and see a preview of that.
Oh, will it differ from the prequel?
Yes, from the cold open, yes. And then on February 7th, there is a book coming out that's an anthology, a romance anthology of like romance stories skewed and tilted on its head, called Love Ignited from Ignition, and you'll get a lettered preview there in that. So that'll probably be, that'll be your first look at it.
Cool.
And then I'm really active on Instagram, and I just made a little video today that'll go live on Monday that shows like just cuts of panels here and there, and just to give you a feel of, a lot of it's a feel of the fashion that Joe did, because I really wanted to show off to him.
Sure. There's a lot of great scenes at cocktail parties and museum galas and the like. And no, it really again evokes that 30s and 40s glam period of not only the Nick and Nora stuff with the Thin Man, but Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers and those kind of films as well. All those really, like, again, as you know, Jim, it was during the Depression years, and so to see the upper crust partying and stuff, people lived vicariously watching these films and watching. I mean, there wasn't resentment. Isn't it interesting, Jim, the way society kind of changes? And maybe I'm wrong in looking at it with rose-colored glasses, because there were people obviously that were hitting really hard times during the Depression.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point of My Man Godfrey. Like a scavenger hunt where one of the things you have to find is a found man, and that was code for a homeless person.
Yeah.
And like to think of the working class that didn't have a place to go because of the Depression being objectified like that. But then he gets to turn around. William Powell turns around and turns it all on its head. And
it's great. Yeah, honestly, it really is a wonderful film, and it really is the underdog kind of showing the uppity ups. What for? But I guess I was thinking more of the escapism of the underdogs. By the way, one of my favorite gay actors, Edward Everett Horton. Well, my goodness, look what now! What a pickle! You know, that wonderful fractured fairy tale narrator. Once upon a time, there were three little bears, and they were all in the woods. I used to do commercials imitating Edward Horton all the time. So.
Yeah, I also I love, like, other than William Powell and Myrna Loy, my other favorite pairing is Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy.
Of course.
So, I mean, you can't really talk about classic film without talking about them as well. And I think that they have an influence on the other half as well, where usually Katharine Hepburn played a little bit of a higher class than Spencer Tracy, who was really rough around the edges.
Sure.
And that's what happens with Ethan and Henry. And you mentioned the cocktail parties and the glam, and then the next issue you'll see literally the other half. So I'm really excited for that, because the scenes that we have in there are exciting and fun and funny, and were great to write and great to draw. I didn't draw them, Joe did, as you know. But
you're assuming it was fun for Joe to draw them. That's right.
He said it was. I check in on him.
Okay, there you go. I saw the Instagram video of Bree promoting, and the two of you guys also promoting the thing. So that's great. Yeah, let's talk about Henry for a minute, because we talked about Ethan, but yeah, Henry obviously. How would you cast Henry? Because he doesn't have that Bogart or my favorite Dick Powell detective look. But you know, so yeah, tell me who you had in mind when you talked.
My dream casting would be Pedro Pascal, because he's in everything.
Sure.
Yeah, he looks good with the mustache and scruff. I mean, that's somebody people really liked, and yeah, he's got kind of that classic look.
I was wondering if there was somebody in Old Hollywood, but I love that you said Pedro.
In Old Hollywood. God,
yeah, that wasn't in your mind.
Well, for Ethan, I think no. Oh gosh, I'm blanking right now. Oh, I would. What's one of the? I would probably do for Ethan, especially. My mind is blanking on the playwright's name from All About Eve, but
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I forget who that actor is, but I certainly know the movie.
And
because I was almost thinking too, Petrified Forest, and also Ashley from Gone with the Wind. British guy.
Yeah.
What's his name? Yeah, exactly. I know we suck tonight. Jesus, what kind of old movie fans are we? We can't think of anybody's goddamn name.
We just blank out right now. And I had a stack of. I would actually cast Henry, a younger, like in his younger days, maybe a Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, interesting.
When he was a little bit more rough around the edges and the everyday man. And then Henry would easily be, and I was thinking about this because when I was doing the character notes, I had actually put this in there, would be, and now I'm blanking.
While you're thinking Edward Arnold then would be Ethan's father, in my mind, if Jimmy Stewart is Ethan.
Yeah, absolutely. And why am I blanking on?
Give me a movie and I'll
Charade.
Cary Grant. Who
Cary Grant? Yes, younger.
For Henry.
No, for Ethan.
I could see that, absolutely. Well, and again, you may as well pair him with Randolph Scott, because that was always the hot rumor that they were beyond roommates, were also roommates. So that, that's cool. Dude, by the way, speaking, you'll forgive me, but mentioning Randolph Scott, Gabe Harbin and I have really been getting into his Westerns from the 50s. Randolph Scott.
Okay.
And it's a shame, he stopped acting because he was also like a land baron. Like, I love all these old Hollywood people. Like Fred McMurray owned a good portion of California. Bob Hope famously, and near the end of his life, donated like 6,000 acres or however many acres it was. Yeah, go ahead. Or like 600 miles. Yeah, I'm not doing anything with it. Go ahead. Give it back to the state. And so was Randolph Scott. He was like a big oil baron. And it's like, yeah, I'm making money. Yeah, I'm an old man. See you later. I'm done. And it was a shame because we never got him past the 50s. But I adore him. Did you see the Cary Grant BritBox miniseries that Jason Isaacs did?
I didn't. I don't have BritBox.
You do or don't?
I don't. Being married to somebody from the UK, you would think I would. But I think he had enough of British TV when he lived there. But I have AbFab.
There you go. That's cool. God, I love them. They're brilliant. I just saw on Graham Norton, Dawn French, Jennifer Sutherland's other great collaborator.
Yep.
And also that Comedy Nexus. Ben Elton, the guy who created The Young Ones from the 80s?
Yeah.
He just wrote an autobiography, and I got the audio of it. And my God, that Comedy Nexus of British people in the 80s, Fry and Laurie, and Emma. I love that Emma Thompson was one of the boys, and just as vital. It's like learning about Gilda Radner in the old SNL days, and it's really cool how they all and of course even Rowan Atkinson working with Ben Elton on Blackadder, and it's like it's really, and Robbie Coltrane was part of that as well. Fascinating, all these great talented people, and they were all just like on top of each other doing great comedy.
I think, especially because this is recorded today, we have to mention Catherine O'Hara.
Amen, son.
Raise a glass.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Second City Television, Second City Theater, everything that they did. I mean, it's
everything.
It's a loss. It's definitely a loss. And we either have like young actors passing away due to like drug or alcohol, or maybe just something happened to them. And then they're like the older actors that you're like, oh, okay. I mean, I saw some of their stuff maybe when I was younger, but Catherine O'Hara, like I've seen almost everything she's been in. And so we're kind of getting into that era where it's just like, oof, I don't want to see anybody else go.
No, I've been watching clips all day from Second City. And in fact, I posted one of my favorites where she's playing Katharine Hepburn, and it's my first time. And it's actually an ad for a tea bag, product. But the way she's telling the story, it sounds like some stagehand, like it had his way with her. Well, I certainly objected to what he was suggesting until, it happened. And then I was quite surprised. And it's so, and I'm not even doing the voice justice. It was so great. She was just brilliant, O'Hara. And I'm so glad she did win the Order of Canada. So at least nationally, in that way that like we have, the president, the Kennedy Awards and all the things we have here. It's great that it's like Canada's like, no, she's a national treasure and needs to be acknowledged as such.
I think she's a natural U.S. treasure too.
I completely agree. No, we were very fortunate to get a lot of her work down here. I mean, come on, even, like that great scene in the van. I mean, the whole movie, obviously, of Home Alone. But that great scene with Candy in the van.
And he improvised all that. He improvised all of that.
Yeah.
And she was just able to bounce right off.
Yes.
Of the training that she had. And I mean, it's just that generation, especially like all of Christopher Guest's people really knew how to do that. And I think people like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are kind of, and Maya Rudolph are kind of this the 21st century version of that, I think. So, but it's great to see. It's great to see things like that. I mean, it goes all the way back to, keep talking about Myrna Loy and William Powell, but they did like 5 other movies together that they were paired in. And I think only 2 were also comedies. The rest were dramas. So, I mean, and people like Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn, people found their person that they worked off of so well. And the studios recognized it too. And because of the studio system, of course, they're going to put the same 2 people together because they're under contract with them.
Yeah. Every time they try to remake something, like for instance, and this is a television thing, and I'm hearing that NBC wants to do a new Rockford Files. And it's like, no, that was James Garner. And just like a lot of the old Hollywood people, the reason why the Spencer Tracy movie worked was because of Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn, all these people. What was that Western, Jimmy, that you did for Marvel that was kind of a Tracy Hepburn thing.
That was the first thing I ever wrote for Marvel. I'm surprised you remember that. Thank you. The story behind that was I knew we were doing a Marvel Westerns miniseries. And I went into Mark Panich's office, and I believe it's his birthday today. So happy birthday.
Hey,
Mark.
happy birthday, Mark. One of my favorite editors. That's awesome.
Great. And I had a cold. And so I had taken some Robitussin and went to work. And I walked into his office, and I was like, you know what? Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn never did a Western together. I want to pitch for a Western with the two of them, and it's called, get this, and this shows my knowledge of sports, the Philadelphia Philly. And I thought I was so brilliant at coming up with that name. But yeah, I mean, that was my first, that was my first 8-pager. He said, yeah, you can do 8 pages. So I did. And it was while I was still working at Marvel, and it was just such a great time, and it was just such a dream come true because I already had my foot in the door. I had moved from Nashville, Tennessee to New York because I was writing for the ABC Daytime Writer Development Program, working in soaps. And the two things I wanted to accomplish by moving to New York was either working on a soap on contract, and I'd worked on One Life to Live, and then the other was working for Marvel. And about 3 or 4 months into moving to New York, a Monster.com alert popped up for a traffic coordinator working for Marvel, like in the production office, and working for David Bogart specifically. And so it was trafficking materials back and forth. I had some experience about that. They came up on a Saturday. I applied on the Sunday. I got a call on Monday if I could interview on a Tuesday. By the time I had left the interview and got back to New Jersey, because I lived in New Jersey overlooking Manhattan. So I say I lived in Manhattan at the beginning. I eventually moved. I got a call asking if I could start on a Thursday. And it was because the girl whose place I was taking, that was Friday was her last day. And it was the week of San Diego Comic-Con. So they really wanted to hire somebody super fast because it was San Diego, and then they would be exhausted after that.
Sure.
And my dream came true.
That's amazing.
And then it continued to after that, from then on.
That's amazing. Regarding One Life to Live, who played Vicky forever?
Victoria Lord? Erica Slezak.
Yes, Erica Slezak, absolutely. My mom's favorite soap opera, and I remember when Erica was a young woman, when I was, like 5 years old, watching with my mom and stuff like that. So that, I was more of an All My Children General Hospital guy myself.
Well, she just did a 3-month stint on General Hospital as Monica Quartermain's long lost sister.
Oh, hilarious! Oh, that's fantastic! Oh,
and she got to play a con man.
Jimmy, isn't it amazing that soaps that literally have been around since the dawn of broadcasting, that they are in the twilight, and I don't know if you even know how long they'll survive.
I think there's still a core audience for them. And they watch it on television, because when All My Children and One Life to Live were canceled, they moved it over to a streaming platform. And this is in the early days of streaming.
Yeah, on Hulu.
Yeah. And the audience just didn't follow.
Right.
A lot of them were older people, or people who just were used to setting their DVRs or setting their VHSs. Yeah. Or their VCRs. And watching it that way.
Sure.
And so it's still around, and there's still a very strong fan base, and they're younger people, which I used to get annoyed whenever in the summer there would be the younger people's storylines.
Yes, of course.
Those people went on to do big things, within the soap. They became legacy characters, or we're doing a Buffy rewatch right now. Sarah Michelle Gellar was Erica Kane's daughter, Kendall, and she won a daytime Emmy. And
Yep.
then when her contract was up, literally like the next year, she was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So, you never know what's going to happen. Mark Hamill was on General Hospital before he was Luke Skywalker.
Demi Moore as a
Mhm.
child.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember watching her in the 80s before her movie career took off. I'm trying to think of others. I love when the big stars will stunt, like when James Franco did
James
GH
Franco
a couple
did
years ago.
Franco.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
A
was
couple years
great.
ago, he did that, and that was fun. And I also love, you've got to love Delirious, the John Candy movie.
Oh, yeah.
That scene, it's my favorite scene in the movie when Robert Wagner shows up. That's funny. All my life, I've been Jack Gates. That's my attempt at a Robert Wagner. And just the way John Gates like, oh my God, Robert Wagner, what are you doing here?
And you gotta love Soap Dish.
Of course.
For its send up.
Yes. And what was the one with Falk about the radio soap opera? I can't remember the name of it.
With whom?
Peter Falk was in it.
Oh, Peter Falk. Oh, I don't.
But Soap Dish is fun. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm a fan. Absolutely. No, like I said, well, what's great? A couple of years ago, I went to Terrificon in Connecticut, and a guy that actually we had the pleasure of meeting down in one of our Orlando conventions, Jonathan Frakes, was there, and he brought Jeannie Francis.
Famously Laura from Luke and Laura from General Hospital. So yes.
And I was in college. I was in college when she came back from the dead, as many a soap character will. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, go. All I was going to say was I watched it with my old college roommate and two football players that were on the college football team, and we all were like, and like it's finally going to happen. And I'm like, seriously, I'm like, all right, really, guys, we need a reality check. What the hell's wrong with us? But no, I'm not surprised young people like soaps because it is kind of a high school, college thing as it was when we were kids.
It is, and also I think, especially being in the writer development program, there I had to study soaps. You don't write just one person's storyline. You're writing Tuesday, so you have to know everybody's storylines and everything and their histories. And it really trained me to do comics because in comics you've got 60 now 80 70, 80 years of continuity and voices established of characters. And like in soaps, they've got the same amount. You have to move story forward while keeping true to character. And that's and serialize it. And that's what comics are. I mean, it's the exact same thing, except superheroes wear their underwear on the outside.
When you wrote Hawkeye and Mockingbird.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much it happened in Marvel, but I read Denny O'Neil's guide to writing that he made, and it was really in that DC format. But they'd have an A plot, a B plot, and a C plot all in the one issue, and you would mention the C plot because eventually they all move up the chain. So when you're finished with the A plot, you've set up enough story ideas that okay, now the B plot can take over, and the C plot moves up to the B plot. And I find that interesting. I don't know if you were able to do that because a lot of your stuff really was one arc trade, correct?
Yes, but then they recently put out an epic collection, which was 468 pages, I think.
Nice.
And I was like, I realized that I wrote Hawkeye Mockingbird, Hawkeye like solo, that I was on that book for 3.5 years. I was telling his stories, and I'm like, God, I wrote that many pages of it. I was so honored and blessed.
Yeah.
And excited. And I did actually have like A, B, and C stories. And what was funny is like in Hawkeye Mockingbird, Mockingbird had, come back from the dead from being on the Skrull homeworld. And she was having PTSD and everything. And Hawkeye was trying to relate to her. And I had a scene where Hawkeye gets up in the middle of the night and Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, was in the kitchen. And, she was famously the Skrull leader, like the one who took her place. So they both had that kind of shared experience. And so I put like a little exchange between them, and people always ask, was that supposed to blossom into anything else? And Brian Bendis actually picked up a little bit on it in his Avengers run. And then in Blind Spot, the last mini I got to do, I brought back Clint's brother, and also he inherited a lot of money and didn't know what to do with it. And Matt Fraction had gotten in touch with me because he went on to do his seminal run on Hawkeye, and actually, he had this money, but he didn't know what to do with it. And then he was down on his luck. He lost everything. But I was very thankful. It's really cool. I was talking about collaboration and people, really promoting each other, but it's so much fun, especially in these ongoing stories where creative teams come in and out, when people really just get in touch with the person who's who's leaving the book and say, okay, where were you taking this? What are you doing with this? And they can really like seed it in there, and it pays off to the readers too, because Absolutely. They feel invested, that they've read Jim McCann's Hawkeye for this long, and then Matt Fraction's Hawkeye for longer, which I'm so excited. I love that run. So,
oh God, yeah. David Aja's art was amazing. But no, I agree with you. And in fact, I just had Matt on in October when his Batman run started, and he was saying for Batman, it was the same. He's like, I'm not going to abandon what Zdarsky and the guys and King and others did. He goes, no, I want to build on that and honor that but still put my imprint on it, which he's done. And it's great because like Vandal Savage is still the police commissioner and screwing everything up in Gotham and taunting Bruce living in the mansion and the I mean, it's really great. And that all started, with Chip. And it's like, no, that's great. And Alfred being dead is, sadly, I miss him, and we all do. But I also appreciate the integrity of the story. That's, it's hard, man. And status quos change all the time. I talked about Clark Kent with Bendis when he had him reveal his identity and stuff. And I'm like, God bless you for doing it. I wouldn't do it. I think he's always going to have the, I'm like, that's just part of the DNA. And again, the identity's back, the genie's back in the bottle. So that didn't last, Yeah,
but I mean, I like it when people really take a chance, swing for the fences, do something that you're not expecting. I think the fans pay off, it pays off for the fans. I do have to mention Bendis in my writing journey for just a second. I know he was on like 2 weeks ago, and also you did the Darwin Cook.
The book club.
The book club, which I need to be a part of. I got to sign up.
Oh, Jimmy, please. You're welcome to be on. Absolutely.
I'd love to.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, Brian, I had pitched Hawkeye and Mockingbird in a room at a creative retreat when I was still in marketing, and I pitched it as the Mr. and Mrs. Smith of the Marvel Universe. And Brian looked at me and said, "That's a great book, and you should write it." And so I was like, "Okay." And we talked more about dialogue and about writing, and he was a really good mentor. And one day, at my desk, there was a box, and inside of that box was each box set of DVDs of the Gilmore Girls seasons, going back to the Gilmore Girls at the very beginning, and just a note that said, "This will change your life and your writing." And I mean, it totally did. I've had it evolve. My voice evolved into that sort of faster patter, comedy infused drama. And I think that Return of the Dapper Man is a huge high point for me for obvious reasons. Janet and I's collaboration, which I can get into in a minute. But I think the other half has really been me building up to this. And now I have so many other stories to tell that I'm super excited to hopefully get out there and in people's hands.
I think it's great, man. And again, I see the evolution in your writing, and I think that's wonderful. But you'll forgive me. I want to step back to that Western you did. Did Terry Dodson draw that? Who drew that for you?
No, oh gosh,
Right, it was beautiful, and
I was so lucky. Yeah,
it's
I was
kind of
lucky to work. I'm lucky that I had a chance to work with a lot of artists when they'd just come to Marvel. David Baldion with Marvel Zombies Christmas Carol. Of course, David Lopez was my partner in crime. He had just come off of Catwoman, and Janine Schaefer brought him over to Marvel and paired him there. I have to look up Marvel Westerns real quick. Forgive me,
Yeah,
people.
no, absolutely. I think
I absolutely need to give credit to this Marvel Westerns.
it really, for everybody listening, it was very evocative of Terry Dodson's kind of good girl art. It's really, really, really beautiful. And again, yeah, you can read it on Marvel Unlimited. That's I'm sure Jimmy's looking that up right now.
Let's see here. All right. It was art by David Williams.
Okay.
Who you actually don't hear his name that often anymore.
No.
But
I wonder if he went to animation.
I probably so.
Because he really, I mean, it's that kind of art, everybody, that easily could then leap to animation. And as we know, Joe Madura and many others we've lost to animation over the years. Which, again, that's all right. It's just a different platform. So how about other old 30s and 40s detectives like Philo Vance or the Falcon?
I mean, I love all of those. I love what Alex Segura is doing with Dick Tracy over at Mad Cave. I mean, it was more of a serial than a film.
Yeah.
But you can't discount him, and you certainly can't discount what Alex is doing. He's great too, by the way. He's great.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, isn't it wonderful how he's evolved as a real his Daredevil novel coming out in March?
I know. He's got that. He had Secret Identity and
Pete Rodriguez or Pete I forget the name of his detective character from
from his Miami
Pete Fernandez, maybe?
Yeah. From the Miami detective series.
Yeah. No, I'm very proud of Alex. He's doing a hell of a job. Yeah.
Alex and I grew up in the same at the same time. He was at DC and I was at Marvel, and we were doing the same job for the longest time.
Absolutely.
So we became really close friends, and
that's funny.
And I'm so happy to see his success. Just it's really, really cool.
I agree, and it's crazy because truly, it was in these early years of Word Balloon. I was dealing with Jim, and I was dealing with Alex, and also Adam Phillips right before Alex started, and Adam was okay, but man, DC was really the corporate, more no's than yeses, and I don't know if it was Bendis who talked to you guys on my behalf, but it really felt like pretty early on. I got the goodwill from Marvel of no, you should talk to John. He's not going to be a dick. He's not going to, it's not. I mean, honestly, some of the podcasters out there, they think they're Woodward and Bernstein. And there have been times where I will get privileged information I'm sorry, I really shouldn't have said that. And I'm like, it's fucking comics. I'm not going to screw up your marketing. Don't worry. I mean, now we're doing it live, and I think people do get I better make sure. But I think at this point, most of my guys, they understand. They know what they can and can't say on the air. So.
It was always my goal to continue to give stories to the big sites. At the time, it was like CBR, Newsarama, and then I really loved the guys at iFanboy, and I thought they did a great job. So I made sure that the people who were just starting out, and iFanboy is huge now. It had a huge run, not a huge run. It had a huge following, and it still does. And then as I got to meet people, I was like, oh, you're a pleasure and so easy to work with. Why wouldn't I set up somebody with you?
Well, Jimmy,
and you came really well recommended. So,
well, thank you. And honestly, that means a lot. And again, it was great to get that trust from the big two. And again, it's been a lovely 20 years. So that's great. I also wanted to mention, we Jimmy and I spent our time at various conventions, and we went down to Orlando for maybe it wasn't maybe it was Fan X or something like that.
It was not MegaCon. It was
No.
It's Mike. A Super or something, or
maybe FX SuperCon or something. It was
Mike like that.
Mike, who's in charge of all the GalaxyCon shows. It was his first show and his original show. So it's like since evolved into that. But we had the craziest weekend because, as I said earlier, Jonathan Frakes is hanging at the bar telling stories. He told that great story about being Captain America for a Blood, Sweat, and Tears concert. And it was hot as hell. And the band's like, you could take your mask off. But the guy who played Spider-Man wouldn't break character and kept his mask on and was sucking beers through his mask. We were crying. So we had that. It was me, Jimmy, John Hickman was down there back then. John was just breaking in at Marvel. And then we ran into, ladies and gentlemen, Serena Vincent, who, yes, she's a lovely, lovely woman and still is. It's a younger picture. It's kind of the era that we met her. And, it was great because, and I'm sure Jim had a similar experience. There was the hotel, and then they had shuttles from the hotel taking us to the convention center. And it was like clockwork. I mean, they just always so random. It was
raining. I remember it raining that weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, it was crazy. At least for one or two of the days, it was really pouring down rain.
Well, first,
that's fun to me, I think. It's like kind of Woodstock.
It kind of was. That Friday, we were going to the shuttle, and she and I happened to be like, oh, we only have room for one person. Now, there's Schlubby John that's going to be doing conventions, and then there's a woman that's actually going to get autograph work. And I'm like, well, and we had just met, and I'm like, and I didn't even know her name at that point. I'm like, well, clearly you're one of the autograph celebrities. I'm like, by all means, please take the limo. I'll wait in the rain for the next one. It's not a big deal. And she's like, well, you're very sweet. Well, then cut to Sunday, and we're driving from the convention to the airport, and we wind up in the limo with Serena. Now, I don't know if you remember, but do you remember who was in the front seat? Another celebrity was in the front seat, and we never talked to him.
All I can remember is the two other stories that I have of that time.
Okay. Well, let me finish this one. It was Mark. It's the guy in Major West from Lost in Space. Mark, I forget his last name.
Oh, okay.
Consistent with this episode where we're forgetting names.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's Major West from Lost in Space. And he was chatting up the driver. And meanwhile, like the four of us, Serena, Hickman, McCann, and myself are talking. Could not have been more delightful. And then we get to the airport, and we're in the terminal, and we got like a couple hours before our flights, our various flights. So we're all at like Ruth Christie's or whatever, having drinks and talking to Serena. Could not have been more lovely. I mean, and I'll continue the story, but please tell me what you remember about that weekend.
Oh, well, no, I mean, cons are so great, especially like some of the smaller cons, like especially when they were like in hotels and stuff like that. And like you'd meet people like I sat next to Jewel State at one, and at a bar one.
Yeah.
And then my very first convention, I was like, oh my God, Lou Ferrigno is at the bar. And then I was at my next convention, I was like, oh my God, Lou Ferrigno's at the bar. And then it became my like 12th convention. It was so nice. And just, you get to meet all of these great people. And at that con, I cannot remember the woman's name because this is now going to be called Word Book for this podcast. Word Book. Huh?
Something.
But I cannot remember her name, but she was in the Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
Oh,
and
yeah,
she played Invisible Woman. And she thought, sorry, that's my
not at all.
She thought because I worked at Marvel that I had some sort of clout to be able to get the Corman film into theaters. And I was like, I'm lucky to do an 8-page story. I'm lucky to just be able to be here and talk to you, but I don't think I can go back. And this is before Marvel Studios. So I was like, I wouldn't even know who to talk to on that because at the time, Kevin Feige wasn't there. There wasn't a Marvel Studios.
No, my God, this is pre Iron Man. It's like 2006, I believe.
I feel like that kind of time was a little bit of our like post film school grads in the 60s and 70s era, where we were just like, let's do this, let's see what we can do with this, let's go do this and go do that. I mean, just in comics and behind the scenes in comics, we were just like, we were these younger folk just kind of coming up with ideas and saying, let's see if this sticks.
Prince Parker wants to know if you ever met Stan Lee.
I have. I actually have. I have a picture with him. I met him a couple times. I was his handler at New York Comic Con one year to get him from the con floor to the panel room, and we went the back way, like through the kitchen area and all that, and we did run-throughs for it. And because I kept forgetting what door it was that we had to go into, and I didn't want to lead him into the wrong panel. So they literally made a sign that they stuck on the door that said, "It's this door, Jim."
That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, and he was so kind. He was so sweet. It was a really big loss. But we owe so much to him. You talk about standing on the shoulders of giants. I mean, he's up on Mount Rushmore.
He's the visionary. No, he saw the promised land and was trying to get Marvel there as far back as the 70s, going to Hollywood and being like, this stuff is great, you should use it. And it's
you should keep doing Stan Lee.
It's great. And this is cruel, but on my show I do with Art and Franco, we were talking about, and this is when Stan was still alive. I'm like, is it safe for Stan to fly? Because I always heard when you're in your 90s and flying that it screws with your bone density. And the guys they're like, what do you think's going to happen? His bones are going to pulverize just because he takes the flight. And then we were talking about that thing that grade school kids send around the country, Flat Stanley. So we made Flat Stanley. Yes, you could slide me under a door and I will appear at any convention you want. Put me in a mail slot and I will be there. I'm Flat Stanley. So that, there you go. I know, but I never got the chance to interview him. Met him very briefly at one of those New York cons, and oh well. What are you gonna do? At least I got Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. I'm okay.
There you go.
I got Gene Colan before he passed. There you go. Prince Parker agrees. He's like, an old man shouldn't fly past 90. That's what I always heard too. We're not doctors. The Prince and I aren't doctors, but this is what we heard. So I don't know.
Well, I did want to go back to one thing because I just mentioned briefly about Dapper Men. I think we've talked about it a little bit.
Of course.
That was my first creator-owned book. And it feels so weird for me to introduce a book instead of you to bring it up. But I have to talk about that because it was a huge breakthrough moment, because that was my first creator-owned, co-created with Janet Lee, who does amazing artwork. I mean, she's still working in the business right now. She's working on something that I can't say. Okay. But we're going to be having, she's coming out in hopefully in March, and we'll be talking about the second Dapper Men book.
Hey, great.
Returning to, I'm so excited because the first one we just thought was going to be a calling card. Like we thought, hey, she didn't know how to do sequential storytelling, so I taught her about that. And she was doing, decoupage painting. And so I really learned what her style could translate into. And we didn't think it would go anywhere. And then, to win the Eisner for it was just amazing for that. But Janet and David Lopez, because I had done New Avengers: The Reunion by that point, are the first two artists that I really learned how to collaborate with. And I just want to say thank you to them, because I don't think I'd be here without them. So I wanted to just say that.
Absolutely. No. And Janet's art really was really distinct in a great way. Mm-hmm. And it was, I can't imagine, because like you said, it was decoupage. Wasn't it almost like wood cutting kind of?
Do you mind if I step away for just 1 second? I can show you.
Okay. Oh, that's great. There you go. We'll see what I'm talking about with a visual aid for the audio audience. Another reason why you should.
And it's a page from Dapper Men.
There you go.
So as you can see, this wood is actually the wood that she does it on.
Yeah.
And she will draw on paper like all of this, and then she will cut out the different layers and layer it on top of each other. And then in the background, she used pages from public domain books like Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, and then painted over it. But every once in a while, you can catch a glimpse.
Interesting.
Of like a passage from one of those, because it was stuff that really inspired us for it. So yeah, she's amazing, and I'm super psyched that I get to continue working with her.
That's great.
And she's my friend. We lived a mile apart from each other in Nashville because we wanted to be on that show Trading Spaces together. So yeah,
that's awesome. God, it's been years since I've seen her at a show, but no, she's terrific. She's great. And also tell people about the story of the Dapper Men.
Oh, Return of the Dapper Men is inspired. Well, it was actually inspired by three different disparate pieces of art that Janet had done. One was this gorgeous door-sized piece of a Parisian skyline with these men in striped suits raining down from the sky. Another was this little robot girl flying out in space, and another was a steampunk kid. And in my weird mind, these three went together. And so I was like, okay, how do they go together? How do they go together? And then the story just evolved. And it's a story about a land where time has stopped and stayed stopped for as long as anybody can remember. And play has become work. Work has become play. It's a coexistence between robots and humans, but it's all children. Nobody knew where the parents went, or if there were parents. Is this the first generation of kids? But the story picks up when 314 dapper-looking men rain down from the sky, and time starts again. Time was actually stopped at 314, which is 3.14 pi. So it would go on forever. So that's why we picked 314. I always like to have little Easter eggs in there for stuff.
Sure.
But if people get it, they get it. If they don't, they don't. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, 314 dapper men come raining down from the sky and restart time. And it's a story about learning how to put away your toys and discovering sunsets and sunrises again, and learning what it is to start to grow up. So it's really like, it's an all ages story, but I mean all ages. Like, we've actually heard that a second grade teacher has taught it in their class, and a college professor has taught it in their class. So people can get anything out of it. Everybody can get something out of it. And I'm really like happy and really proud of that story. It was a true collaboration. It is a true collaboration with Janet. She would come up to New York and sit down on the floor at my apartment and draw sketches, and I'd be on the couch laying down going like, and then I would like spit out a couple of lines or scenes, and then she'd be sketching stuff, and I'd look over and look under her sketch pad, and I'd go, "Ooh, who's that guy?" She's like, "I don't know. I just drew him." And I'm like, I have a whole backstory for him. He's going in the book. So, I mean, I don't think you can get more collaborative than that when it's literally live.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Janet's art and your guys' character choices, they remind me of the kind of animation that the Beatles had in Yellow Submarine. And then there's another great early 80s animated film called Twice Upon a Time. I don't know if you know that one. It's really great.
I'm sure Janet has seen it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Janet's art evokes those films, and they're among my favorites of kind of weird little cult movies, from back in the day.
She's also very much inspired by the illustrated original L. Frank Baum's Oz series. We were both totally inspired by Maurice Sendak. Not just Where the Wild Things Are, but all of his drawings. We both have the complete works of Marie Sendak, and yeah, I can't say enough about her and about that book. I was just like, yes to Prince Parker. It is a YA book. And we're working on the sequel. It's a little difficult to find right now, unfortunately, but when the second book starts to get closer to being finished, it'll come back roaring to press and into bookstores, and you can order it again. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm so excited that she's going to come, and we're going to be 2026 will also be a dapper year.
You know,
She's the other half sometimes. Don't tell my husband that.
Say it again. She's your other half?
She's my comics other half.
I respect that. That's all right. I'm sure he understands. That's cool. So yeah, hey, and again, congratulations on the wedding and everything. That's wonderful. And the pending reapplying of the clearly a single guy. The reapplying of the vows. Like it's a Band-Aid or vaccine. Yeah, I gotta reapply this. It's starting to wear off me. Let me reapply that. Idiot.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, buddy. And truly, congratulations on the other half. Again, everybody, final cutoff is Monday. So do yourself a favor this weekend. Go to your local shop or on Monday and make sure you get this from Ignition Press. And also, we'll be looking forward in the future your opportunity to get the Cold Open,
yes,
which have been fun from Ignition Press. I can attest to that. Murder podcasts and the like. I've enjoyed those.
And the first issue, if I may plug it, the first issue, while at FOC's on Monday, it will hit stands on March 11th. So that's when you can pick it up in the stores.
Excellent. And also, you can get the Signature Series limited to 500. But if you go to comicsandcards.net, and Jimmy will sign all 5 issues for you, and it's the same cover price. So that's pretty cool.
Anywhere in the U.S.
That's beautiful, man. Congrats. Well done, Jim. Good to talk to you.
Oh my God, it's so great to catch up with you and to talk to you and to be on here. I'm very happy that I have something to talk about. I'm just happy that we got to connect and got to do this. It's been a great little over an hour talking with you, and we'll hopefully see each other on the convention circuit.
Well, regardless,
and I want to do the book. I want to do the book club too.
Oh, please, that would be great, Jim. Honestly, and again, my writer friends are certainly welcome because it's great to get their input. Guys like Eric Pilecki and Tom King have showed up for sessions, and Brian. I let Brian kind of lead in those times from a writer standpoint to make it more of a scholarly thing, and I'm just there to fart around and give my. I think it was good. I thought it was really good. So yeah, it's all right. I let Brian do the heavy lifting on that episode.
I do too, on everything that I do. Like he helped me move in. I'm just kidding.
Well, thanks, Jim. Great talking to you. And we'll catch up in the spring when the new Dapperman or whatever other new announcements you got coming up.
Sounds great.
Beautiful, right, man. Thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, I'm just taking your line.
No, by all means, Jimmy, it's cool. You can wrap us up.
Thanks everybody for watching and for listening. If you're doing the audio, John does a great job, and you should definitely go back and listen to all of his other podcasts and video casts. Watch them, like and subscribe. This has been a lot of fun. So thank you for your time, and thank you for spending it with us tonight.
Everybody stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.